10 years in the business comes with many challenges, many lessons for people to learn.
My value is to be able to talk about, the mistakes that we made along the way, the position that we are in now by making those mistakes. It's no secret. I think it's the details in which you do things has given us our success. The small little details that we've implemented.
In the public side, the brand's still great, but in my eyes, my profit's gone down massively because of distributing it to editors and all that sort of stuff.
We didn't study economics, didn't study business, didn't study anything like that. We've really been the trial and error business that has paved the way for other businesses.
Sam, welcome back to CEOCAST.
Thank you, brother.
Josh, I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you, my brother. Good to see you.
So you are the boys that run Menspire, and we're here almost celebrating and ready to talk about 10-year anniversary of the business. So alhamdulillah for where you lot have come. But I think we'll start off this podcast like this. I want to know from each of your perspectives, why is it you work and chose to be partners with the other one?
Good question. I'll let you start.
Let's get the argument started.
Interesting, because when we was both at school, we was at school together, but we weren't necessarily friends. We had separate social circles. I was more in the sporty thing and Sam was more in the naughty thing, So we didn't really have too much in common there at school, but it was at the end of school where we both saw that we were diving into hair. I would have a little fringe that went this way and Sam would have a fringe that went that way. I'd have a little blonde piece here, Sam would have a little blonde piece here. So we kind of identified each other as like people that were into hair.
Yeah.
So I went into men's hair straight from school. Sam went into women's hair straight from school. And it wasn't until about 2 years after where we started to see each other doing really well in what we was doing. So Sam was doing really well in women's hair and I was very impressed. Sam saw me and what I was doing in men's hair and was equally impressed. And I think it was then we started to connect and we started to, admire what each other was doing and start to reconnect as, social friends. So it was something that kind of just blossomed very, very naturally from two young guys that were interested in hair. And I think, all being said, God paved the path for both of us to connect and really come together and create something that didn't really exist too much in the industry to begin with.
Going back to the question, I would say, like Josh said, very organic, how the whole thing sort of came about. We knew each other at school, we then reconnected when we left school, and then we, started going out socially and spending a lot of time together. And most of the time, these conversations and all the time we spent together was generally talking about our craft, our work, our clients, where we want to go, what we're doing. So we found ourselves every time we linked up, it was just like all it was talking about hair, really, and how to improve ourselves in our situations and how we could grow and taking the next step. So very organic and very pure just by meeting up. Then those meetups then became to talking about potentially sort of doing something together. And then when that idea was in mind, we would then meet up a lot. And then generally every time we meet up, all we're doing is talking about what we could do, what we're looking to do. And then it got to the point where I was watching Josh. He was kind of more working for himself. I was working in a salon. I really admired that he was kind of doing his own thing. He did like 1 or 2 days in the salon, but he kind of had his own thing. He had a lot of freedom. He had he had a lot of good stuff going on. I felt very locked in my salon at the time. He would come up and see me and visit me and chat to me. So Josh kind of inspired me to take the leap to leave my salon and do my own thing. So when I made that decision to leave the salon and do my own thing, I set up in my house, working in my mum and dad's house, and Josh was working in his grandma's garage at the time. So at that point, we were very much working kind of together to then, team up and work together. So it got to the point where we were kind of sharing each other's clients. Josh was sort of passing me some of his clients if he was busy. And then, naturally we were kind of, financially kind of benefiting each other, and that was the kind of the feeling. And then we decided we were going to do something. I suppose the journey started of creating the brand and finding out what the brand was, which was Menspire. We had to go through a few sort of different journeys to discover exactly what we wanted. But we knew what we had was something special. We both came from St Albans, the same area. We both pretty much cut all of the young guys in St Albans. We both knew that we had a good hold of the local clientele. So we knew by coming together it would only sort of strengthen things. We didn't really want much from each other. We just wanted to come together to be able to sort of grow something really.
Yeah.
I would say that the journey really crossed paths, because where I had a lot of financial freedom, and I was working from my grandmother's garage earning peas, no rent, just lots of clients, and I had lots of clients, lots of cash, lots of freedom.
Yep.
And I would roll up to town and see Sam on his break just to get 20 minutes with him, just to chat. And he would see that and reflect on that and think, oh, that's impressive. But what impressed me about Sam was the fact that he had all this like genuine industry interest. Like he was entering competitions, he was part of like creative teams, and that's just something I never had the chance to do because I was never backed or sponsored or had anything to do with the industry, so to speak, and I was really interested in it. I think that's where we eventually just crossed paths, and I took over what he was doing, and then he's taken over what I was doing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And we found that harmony where we kind of both understood where we wanted to take our individual paths.
It's interesting hearing it, right? Because sat in front of both of you right now, it's like from you explaining your story and you explaining your story, you can see the different. It's not even skill sets to that point, but different backgrounds and how they can work together to create what you guys have created.
I wanted a bit of what he had. He wanted a bit of what I had.
Yeah.
So that was the first, I suppose, attraction together.
Yeah.
And fast forwarding a little bit, it's kind of like going back to the original question. We both serve such different roles with our business. We didn't know it then, but it became quite apparent probably a year or two into the business where Josh was very keen to travel and educate and do the more creative side. At this point, I was, to be honest, not going off hair, but going off the idea of industry stuff and education and all that kind of stuff. And I was more interested in growing the business, growing the team, growing the people, and probably being a little bit more in the shadows of terms of what Menspire was. And Josh and Charlie Gray at the time were very much representing our brand by traveling off every weekend and doing all that. So I realised to myself, actually, I don't really want to go down that road of what Josh is doing. And I almost initially I was thinking, I wonder how much value I can really be in this business, because Josh wants to do this and this. I kind of want to just focus on this and grow this. But again, going back to your original question, the harmony of our different interests and what he wants to focus on, what I want to focus on, has now led us to 10 years in, alhamdulillah, with everything we've had. I've kind of taken responsibilities of salons and people as such, and Josh maybe more side of the education, the academy. So he focuses on what he loves and what he has a passion for. I do the same with me, and I think that's why we've been able to sort of grow so much, because we know our roles. We don't really have to come together and talk to each other about what you do, what I do. It's just we both know naturally, organically. What's what.
It's the value, isn't it? It's the equal value being provided to the table.
Yeah.
So, original question, like I know that what Josh provides has ultimately allowed us to grow internationally and really put the brand out there. And then what I provided is Josh can do all that, and he can be out the country for the year or months at a time or whatever it is, because I can focus on the business and the foundations basically. So again, naturally organic. It's not being like coming together saying, "Well, you're going to do this, you're going to do that." It's just let's come together. We're on the same thing here. A little bit of different passions here and there, but again, organic is the perfect word, because he's focused on his passion, I focused on mine, and by doing so, we've in the position now 10 years in with 31 salons, 4 academies, and product line, everything else, and it's just organic. And we've both just known, it's kind of unsaid. We don't need to get together too much and really, well, what are you doing this week? What are you doing this week? It's been natural.
Yeah, also because you've also got your team, and I've got my team. For example, Oli Morehouse, Mahi, Naz. These are the other directors, part of the company that work with Sam closely on a day-to-day basis, where I'm working with Sean Moore, Luca Perillo, Charlie Burt, for example, who are the educators within, the creative side. So, ultimately we have teams that are strengthening each side of the business. And I think that's what's interesting as well is you have the brand and you have business. The brand can look all flashy, glittery, sparkly and whatnot, but if the business is not sound, you haven't really got anything.
Yeah.
And I think we've definitely come across struggles as well, where we've been in the past where we're thinking, the business is actually not as good as what the brand actually looks like.
Yeah, we discovered that early, to be fair. The brand was popping.
When did you first discover that?
I would say I would say, to be honest,
Third year in now.
About third year. So the first year was beautiful. We started in a really small shop, and there was money in the bank, and it was all very easy. And then we realised that we outgrew this first shop, and we took a step into a bigger shop with a bigger team. So we went from like 3 or 4 people to then a team of 8. Then we had assistants as well. So about a team of maybe 10 in one shop, and it was really thriving. It was incredible. But then, you know,
was this the shop that me and you done the
that's
podcast?
where we did the podcast, yeah. So technically the first shop, but really it's the second shop. We were around the corner. So that was incredible for growth, and we were, you know, it was definitely the right decision going from this small unit to taking that step, and it really allowed us to grow. But with that growth comes bigger tax bills, bigger VAT bills, bigger overheads in terms of staff, everything. So I think we were doing really well, so well that actually the tax man, VAT man, we realised, we didn't realise actually if you do this well, a lot of that money actually goes out here. So I think we learnt that we were thriving, we were popping, and the Instagram was popping, and, you know, our name was growing and really, you know, getting some traction. But behind the scenes, we were thinking, bloody hell, we had more money when we had the smaller shop. It was
because you're
easier.
paying more overheads and
Exactly
everything.
that. It was, we had £9,000 was the rent of our first shop, which is, looking back, peanuts. We invested £7,500 in each, so it was all like very small and simple. And then naturally you want to grow, so you take these steps, and zero regrets. But along with these steps, there's a lot of tests came. So I think then we had discussions about brand is booming, alhamdulillah. Business is business. We need to figure this out a little bit more, because we also knew someone else in the industry that again had an incredible brand, but his business went down, and he kind of disappeared. And we used to speak about that a lot. And we weren't ever at the point of losing the business, but certainly like looking at our profit margins.
Wasn't it? It was questionable.
Yeah, profit margins, things like that. You know, we were doing really well. Turnover was great, but there was a few months when we weren't getting paid from the business.
Yeah, it gets to a point where you start thinking, okay, how do we actually excel and move on? I mean, I can kind of relate to this in some extent.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, podcast is a business, right?
Sure.
And when I was just myself, the brand looked great. The business in my eyes was great because I was making profit off it, and the people will see that the brand is great. But then when I started making a team, in the public side, the brand's still great, but in my eyes, my profit's gone down massively because I'm distributing it to editors and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then it's good in a way because it challenges you to make you think, how can I excel in my revenue essentially, so I can make sure the profit then matches what it was before and keep growing like that.
Of course.
So it's definitely an interesting point. Of what
And that is part of growth. You do need to bring people in. You do almost need to invest in areas that, remove some of your profit and invest in areas, and hopefully that will pay off.
Yeah.
So
I had that with Jordan Doyle. That was my first initial I hired Jordan Doyle, who's was a great friend and client of ours, who now is our brand manager, who does all of our videography, photography. And that was a big step for a barbering business, a business of barbering, to hire someone in media was huge. And I had to take that on because I didn't know what else to do, how to go to the next step. And I thought, if someone has a camera in and around my haircuts, exposing our talent, exposing our work, then in some way it's going to help provide us with more depth to our identity and some revenue somehow. But he doesn't cut hair.
Yeah.
So it was like...
This is a risk you got to take.
Yeah, that's it. So it was like, that was the risk. And at the time I was like, I don't know, how come I have to do it, but I don't know if I can afford it because it's not going to make money, but it has to come somewhere else.
Yeah.
But
very similar to Marnie, we also employed, we employed our right-hand man now. We employed him full-time. Again, it's not someone that produces revenue, excuse me, but it's someone that, helps, with growing the business and maintaining the business. But again, when you're paying out wages for people that aren't necessarily bringing you physical money in, again, you have to look at the bigger picture and understand that it is an investment. It's you have to sometimes put it in here, there, and there to be able to get there. Hiring people, when we just used to hiring barbers that would come in, generate income, we would take a part, they take their part. Yeah. No brainer, there's no risk. Then when we started to employ people that ultimately aren't bringing finances to the table, they're bringing other bits of value. Again, it's kind of the investment, and you hope that short term you probably won't see it pay off, but on the bigger picture you certainly do. And JD is a great example. He came in just doing videos, pictures very early on into the business, which big risk, big chunk of money out to someone that's not necessarily bringing anything in. But then what he's been able to do for the brand and the exposure that he's given us, and
I mean, just to give it clarity, this is before the whole Instagram, TikTok, or not forget TikTok, but this is before the Instagram era where you know, things.
Instagram was there. Instagram was there,
Instagram was
but
there.
certainly not in the same.
Not in the same extent where everyone thought, okay,
early
we
on.
need people to.
There was
to
no
hire.
content creating
Yeah,
kind of
that's
thing
what I'm
going
To be
on.
fair, he wasn't even there to create like reels and things
No,
like that.
no,
It wasn't
no.
that. It was take nice pictures of haircuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just help with the back end stuff, and we'll kind of figure out as we go.
That's it,
So
yeah.
certainly before the
Yeah.
whole now it's a bit more obvious to hire someone with a camera who can edit for you, because you know exactly it's going to go on reels, TikTok.
It's gonna get people
It's going to
coming,
boom.
all
Yeah,
that
but at that time it wasn't really that. So it was definitely like sort of long term, knowing that Josh had a fantastic reputation. He was doing incredible things, and using the iPhone to capture it is one thing, but someone else capturing it, it was almost time to.
Elevate.
Shed some light on what we're doing, and Jordan was the person to do that.
You need a professional.
Yeah,
in the
both of
field
them
to
are
do
a
that.
credit to our business and brand now anyway. And you know what, it'd be nice seeing them both on the podcast.
Their time will come. Yeah.
You lot need to do a Menspire podcast
Behind
as well.
the brand.
Get everyone
Behind the
on.
brand.
we do.
Behind the
But
brand.
there's definitely a lot of people to shout out, and I'm sure
Yeah.
we will
Yeah,
as we go, because we're very much like we're alhamdulillah, we're really happy with what we've done with Menspire, but we're certainly very aware that our success has come from the people that we have working with us. So Sam and Josh, we are founders of Menspire, but there's a lot of names within the brand that are really a credit to the brand and have
To where it's got to.
able to, absolutely. People like Ronnie Morehouse and Mahi are my key players that I work with. So sometimes it's nice I get to sit on a podcast and say, "Oh, Sam from Menspire," but really and truly, like the real hard workers and some of the
whole
people,
team behind it.
Yeah, whole team.
Yeah.
And this is why it's called Menspire.
Yeah.
There is no one man that does it all. We're a group of collective guys that are just doing it and building it and contributing together.
Yeah, the way I see it is the fact that you two being here in Dubai right now, the two CEOs, if you will, of Menspire, but Menspire is still running in the UK, just shows me that you've got a great team that you can trust, who you can leave it in the hands of.
100%.
But how long of a time do you think you could be away from the business before you start getting the itch to think, okay, I need to get back?
It's a good question, bro, because when we first opened the first shop, we never wanted to open a shop and become slaves to that shop. We wanted to open a business. We didn't want to create ourselves a job.
Yeah.
So to be honest, bro, we opened the shop and we went to Umrah together 3 months later.
Okay,
we then went to Turkey. So we made a point not to be disrespectful to the team in the shop. We made a point of saying, look, guys, this is it, but we're going to be here then. We're here then. So we set the standard early.
Yeah, you wanted to be business owners, not operators.
Absolutely. And we didn't want to tie ourselves in. And we also learned that when we went to India for a fantastic trip, which actually did a lot for us. And we went away for 2 weeks to India early on in the business. So a bit risky, looking back, a bit risky, leaving people to run our business. But in that time we spent together, alhamdulillah, we did some nice charity work and stuff. But we spent a lot of time together talking about our business very early on. And we came across a book, The E-Myth, which is, the basic fundamentals from this book is about having 3 different roles in the business, a technician, a manager, and the entrepreneur. And we just basically said we need to make sure that, we're going to tick the boxes for all those roles, but we need to make sure we're sitting in the position of entrepreneur, so we're not tied into the business. We're happy to do the work, we're happy to do the haircuts, the cleaning and managing the staff, but we ultimately need to be working on the business and treating it as a business rather than a job. So I think we set our standard quite early that we don't want to be locked into this place. To answer your question, how long could we go away for? Alhamdulillah, now I feel like we've got one shop that we're really liable for that is ours, and then we've got lots of partnerships, and then most of them are franchise. So how we built it now, every time we open a new shop, it's not us putting our hands in our pocket, opening a shop, taking responsibility. It's finding the correct people, partners who open up with us, and it's ultimately their responsibility. The shop, we do our bit, we provide our value and our service, but in terms of the everyday running the shop, we don't have to be there. Because 31 shops and counting, my head would blow up if I had to be responsible for all of that. So we very much have calculated and built it in a way that we can have some freedom alongside it, and ultimately each partner is kind of responsible for that shop. We have our responsibility obviously for the business, but it's not to open and close it and do all the kind of the finer details. It's more the bigger picture. So we didn't want to create ourselves a job. We wanted to create ourselves a business, basically. So we went in with that intention, and alhamdulillah, that's why we're able to be a bit of kind of free alongside it, I suppose.
Yeah. What's been some of the biggest struggles within the whole franchise model? Because we were speaking about this briefly on the podcast last time. Sorry to interrupt you there.
Absolutely.
But given that we are in Dubai right now, the last one was in Versace Plaza.
Yeah, that's right.
Something like that.
Yep. So we touched on it last.
Yeah, we touched on it last time. It's not there now anymore,
No.
is it? So obviously that's one challenge that we could talk about.
Yeah. So we've had great success, alhamdulillah. We've definitely along the way have got rid of a few salons, which I definitely touched upon the last podcast that we did together. And we're in a good position now that if any of the shops do kind of fall off, or we have to kind of terminate any of those contracts. We're in a position now, it's so big, it doesn't matter so much. Along the way, I feel like, I think I definitely mentioned it last time, was that we were in the Four Seasons Hotel in Jordan, Oman, then we were in the Versace Hotel here. For the brand, incredible. Really and truly, it was amazing. We used the branding for the Four Seasons and the Versace on all our marketing and stuff, and it looked amazing. Really and truly, it was good, but it wasn't anything that amazing. And the problems for me, I know I visited these places, but the problems arose when I realised that we kind of maybe made these decisions based on it looking good for the brand, rather than it being a great business decision in terms of finances.
Exactly what we said in the beginning is, the brand in the eyes, but the business behind the scenes. And
it looked amazing, but it was a headache. And I was having all sorts of phone calls from the staff saying they're stealing from you, this, that. And I kind of ignored it. And then it got to a point where actually too many people are saying things, and we had to look at it. And then really and truly we realized that it wasn't really worth it. At that time, a bit more stressful, closing shops. You've promoted it, you've pushed it, you've spoken about it so much, you've put the logos everywhere, then it goes, and it's like, you almost have to explain it. Now I'm in a position where one goes, I don't really care to explain it too much, but I'm definitely more confident. Like, if it doesn't go, it doesn't work, it's not good for us. Alhamdulillah, no problem. I'm really happy to make that decision. So some of the problems are really not making wrong decisions, wrong partners, just maybe saying yes for not the wrong reason, but obviously we wanted to look good for the brand. Really and truly, it wasn't exactly what we would class as a Menspire, how it was run, bits and pieces. So there's been a few of those. Obviously, people change, money can change people, this, that, and the other. So there's been a couple that have dropped off, and certainly none that I've lost sleep over. And I think that we're good with dealing with those situations now. Now, alhamdulillah, moving forward, we're very strong. Everyone we've got in the brand is, alhamdulillah, very much, in good terms of us, and we, great communication, and we're good. The ones that have gone, I suppose, has just been people change, situations change. And to be honest, bro, moving forward, there will be more people that will change, and there will be different situations that we have to deal with, because that's life. People change.
Of course.
Some people might want to even stop barbering and do something totally different. I've seen that and experienced it. So we're ready for anything. We just kind of, we're in a position now where we just focus on the future, moving forward thinking. We've got so many incredible things happening. We focus on that. Anything negative that happens, we kind of try and brush it away and not focus on it so much. And we understand now it is part of business. People come and go. We just try and keep it as nice and smooth as possible. With no kind of upsets and arguments and negativity. But we're very much as business. Things change, people change, and we're kind of prepared for that. And I think from going through a few experiences by losing certain partners or shops or franchises, you only become stronger. You see things clearer. You know what you want. You know what's important. And like I said, we focus on all the amazing positive stuff. Alhamdulillah, we've got loads of cool stuff in the pipeline. So when we talk about that, that's the only thing that's important. We don't really get together and dwell on the negatives, because obviously there is negatives that come. So we just try and focus on the future, focus on the positive stuff, and just prepare ourselves to deal with those bits and pieces with you.
Being 10 years in the business, there comes with many challenges, many lessons for people to learn. So if you could list off a couple of things on your head that things haven't gone your way, things that have gone wrong, what would it be?
For me, it's just about working with the right type of people. It's always been our philosophy. We've always tried to hire people based on good character rather than people bringing a tremendous amount of skill or value. It's about the right people. So that's the best advice I can give anyone when you're doing business is ideally just work with people that sit right. The gut tells you the right type of people. You have a good chemistry with them, and it just feels right. So my best advice with doing business is making sure you're doing it with the right people and not rush into it just for the sake of thinking about the finances. That's just been our philosophy, and I think it really pays off. That's why we've got such a good reputation, and our salons do well. Not necessarily always the best barbers, but it's great people, and people love being around great people. So my biggest advice would make sure when you're doing business, it's with the right people. Because it goes a long way.
That really is everything, to be honest with you. I think because we are born barbers per se, we didn't study economics, didn't study business, didn't study anything like that. And we've really been the trial and error business that has paved the way for other businesses, and I think that's why we've revolutionized the way that people see barbering and men's hairdressing, because we've gone through the challenges that other people haven't yet, and we've I guess we've made the mistakes that for our partners and franchisees don't have to. So that's also come with a blueprint, and that's why our brand has been able to be repeatable, and we can take it anywhere in the world and know that we have that formula that's going to be successful.
Is that a formula you think you'd ever sell, like a franchise course or something like that?
Yeah, funny enough, we are going to do it, and I think it's something that we've been contemplating for a long time. But again, it's we're not business experts, so to speak, but we've become experts within our field, within what we know what to do, within the experiences that we've had. And the experiences that we've had are the blueprint so that other people can also follow the same footsteps. So it's definitely something on our radar that we're looking to, share with the industry, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, certainly it's not a secret. We're more than happy to talk to people about how we've done things. I mean, I offer mentoring, and most people that come to me are in the position where they want to scale, they want to open either one shop, or they've got one shop, they want to open 2 shops. So my value is to be able to talk about the mistakes that we've made along the way, and position that we are in now by making those mistakes. So it's no secret. We're more than happy to share the blueprint. I think it's the details in which you do things has given us our success. The small little details that we've implemented that we try and stick by. For example, when we open a shop, we like to have that first day go to a local charity or something that we see being fit. We did that naturally, just on the off, because that's what we wanted to do. But let's face it, we know that the more you give, the more you get. So we have those little things in play that we do. So small details like that. So yeah, the blueprint isn't a secret. We're willing to share it with people, of course. And like Josh said, we're about to launch an online course, but also a physical course where we're going to go in depth a bit more. I feel like we're in the position now, 10 years in, with what we've built, to definitely be able to give back a little bit more to the industry and share our experiences. Because like Josh said, we're not claiming that we're business experts. We've just done a lot in 10 years, and yeah, we're more than happy to share it. And we want people to also implement the philosophies and the things that we've done to input in their business so they can grow as well.
Yeah. I'm going to go back to a point you said earlier on, but just one thing I caught on as well. Just before you was talking about, working with the right partners, working with the right people and stuff like that. You mentioned in either Jordan or Oman, just you had staff calling you saying, they're stealing money from you, they're stealing this from you, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
How do you actually, before, because I'm sure the whole process has been different across the 10 years, vet the partners in terms of then and vet them now, especially after that situation?
Certainly. I always give my partners the benefit of the doubt. They're the ones I'm in business with. I'm not in business with their team. Ultimately, you can definitely trust people, but people sometimes say things to be malicious, to try and manipulate you. So I think the first round of issues that I had, I listened to the people, I communicated back to my partners and almost said, this is being said. I'm with you, I trust you, but this is being said. I think that happened once, then happened twice, and the third time I was like, I think they're the ones telling the truth.
Was that in the space of how long?
About 2 years or so.
Yeah.
I think, again, some of it I kind of just brushed under the carpet, knowing that I'm trying to build a brand here. Being involved with the Four Seasons, which is like one of my best ever inspiring hotel chains. We stayed strange enough, we stayed in the Four Seasons together in India on this trip when we were really kind of studying our business. So when this email came through from the Four Seasons, we want to open a shop, to be honest, at that time, being really honest, it probably wouldn't have mattered so much what was going on. I just wanted to do it because it was a dream. I was like, I remember the email so well. I remember taking the phone call with the partner at the time, and I won't forget that. That was incredible, the excitement that we got from it. So no regrets. There's no regrets along the way. But again, the lessons you get from that. Now I'm in a position I definitely wouldn't be saying yes just to anyone, even if it does look really good. I feel like playing the long game. We've got it to a position that we're proud of. And I say proud, it's strong and mighty. We've got loads of beautiful salons all around the world. So I don't feel desperate to try and do anything now to make any kind of point for the brand. But yeah, I would always put my faith with my partners. But at this particular time, it was just too many phone calls and too many situations. And it came quite clear that I was being had on a little bit. And like I said, I kind of brushed it under the carpet originally thinking, doesn't matter, whatever. It's only a bit of money. It looks good for the brand. Now going through those sort of things, I probably wouldn't put myself in that sort of position in the first place, really.
What was your thoughts about all this, Josh?
Yeah, I mean, I trust Sam very, very well, and I go by his decision. So, when he's in control of that part, as I'm in control of the brand identity and the creative part, I'll back him all the way. So, whatever he says goes when it comes to those salon situations, to be honest with you. Ultimately, it's not nice, to hear that, to know that. And, like Sam said, you've kind of got to go with your gut and listen to your instinct and take it from there, really.
Yeah. Now I'm going to come back to the point of this, right? So earlier on you said, some people may have different career paths and choose to go down different ways. You might want to be a barber one day, the next day you might want to make movies or something like that, right? I get it, because sometimes I have days where I'm doing a podcast right now, what can I do in the future? You guys been in the game for 10 years. You've obviously, I think naturally everyone has them things, what should I do next, or what can we do? But you've constantly been in the game. So what inspires you to keep going and stay within the same industry for that amount of time?
I love hair. I love to cut hair. I love the feeling of making someone feel and look fantastic. And I don't think that'll ever leave, because I think that's a power that we possess in our hands. And that is, for me, is a God-given talent. I don't think everyone has that ability, to be honest with you. And I just know that is a gift that I've been given from Allah, and my gift back to Allah is that I'm able to share that with everyone.
We're in this full time. Like, we've been in the game 10 years in terms of Menspire, but we're really and truly 17 and a half years each. We've been in the game since we left school, and we're not leaving this game. We're only just getting started really with what we actually want to do. So I love the hair industry. Josh loves hair cutting. I love, I suppose, the industry and what it can give you. And the best thing about this industry that we're in, there's so many different paths that you can take. You don't just necessarily need to be someone cutting hair in a salon. There's a whole range of things that you can do within the industry. So I feel like it offers something for everyone. So for me, like I said, I was really passionate about the education and the creative side of things. It kind of, my passion then went into the business side of things, but I'm still very much in the hair industry.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's so many different ways you can go within this very large industry, whether it's the tech side, the product side, the education side, the color side, whatever it may be. There's so much choice. It's not just like if you're in the industry, you cut hair behind a chair and that's you. You have to be creative with it. So we're in it for life. And we have our fingers dipped into a few other things, but really and truly, like Menspire and hair is us forever. Really, it's in our blood. It was what we've always done. It's what we know, and most importantly, we know that. Cool, 10 years, alhamdulillah, we've achieved some stuff, but really we're just getting started, and that's a really exciting point. And now the conversations are so much more interesting about the next years, 5 years, next 10-year plans, what we want to do. But it's all hair. It's not let's go and set up this restaurant or do this, that, and the other. We're like, well, how can we do this? How can we?
There's different things that fall under the umbrella.
Absolutely, and it's a big, there's a lot there. So it's really exciting. We're not going anywhere. In fact, we're just kind of getting going, really. It's been 10 years of growth and learning, but really now, the position we're in now, it's really exciting. And some of the plans that we have, some of the people that we're talking to, and the goals that we have now, more exciting than ever. It's almost like we've started again. At the beginning, it was extremely exciting, like emotionally exciting. When we first opened, I'll never forget it, the evening that we opened our salon, me and Josh in there, we pretty much built this whole place ourselves. We had some friends helping with the floor, this, that, and the other. We did it all ourselves. We again learned loads of stuff doing that. And it kind of penny dropped then that evening before. I looked around, all our products were there, everything's branded, all the recommended friend cards, discount codes, all this kind of stuff, everything was there. And it put a tear in my eye. I was like, wow, we've done it. We've at the position now, this is our goal, this is our dream, we've got a shop together, we've been talking about this for years. That feeling still remains yesterday when we're sitting down talking about the next 5 years, and the passion that we have for the brand and what we want to do. I can't see that going anywhere soon. So yeah, we're in it to the end, I think. Inshallah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but so far Menspire under the belt is obviously education, physical locations, and I believe product as well, right?
Yeah.
What else are you looking to take it into? Within the next 5 years, as you just mentioned there, 5 to 10 years, what sort of other things you will dabble into to make sure that Menspire is covering all different things under the umbrella?
Personally, I'm looking to take us into the world of fashion a bit more. Just like session styling, to be a part of more magazines and stuff like that. London Fashion Week, Milan Fashion Week, Paris Fashion Week, stuff like that. Just so that we really kind of even go broader on the spectrum of like being representative of men's hairstyling and the future. Really, that's one way I'm definitely looking to pave the way for our brand.
I think going online, having a bit more of an online community, business support, but just the whole online community part of things we're looking to really dive into this year, and growing that. We also have a part of it, one of our business partners in Ireland, Glenn McGoldrick. He is one of the founders of something called Bearspace, which is a booking system that we're also involved with, which is obviously the tech side of things. So we're partners within that, and that's kind of it's booking system, but also like a marketing system. So that's quite an early project, it's a couple of years into that, but that's growing, and that's part of kind of becoming part of the brand that we're involved with. And obviously, as we know, with how the way tech is going, it's got a big reach. So that's part of it. But I suppose improving our online status more so, and the product stuff is flowing. Last time I sat with you, I remember speaking about products. We wanted to focus on it more. It's funny how many people actually messaged me from the back of that podcast about I can do this for products. So we're working on, absolutely. Kind of my intention for mentioning it, I was wondering, I was fishing a little bit. I wonder who came through. And as soon as it dropped, I had loads of messages about that. People can do this, that, and the other. And one of the guys that contacted us, actually, we're working with.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Sick.
Lewis. Yeah. So we're working with Lewis, and he, we knew him kind of briefly before, but he gave me a couple of voice notes after watching the podcast. I was like, I know I can help you, this, that, and the other. So we've been working with him. But the product side of things is something that we're still working on. We've got big plans. These things do take time. Mm-hmm. So I suppose products, much more franchising. I suppose spreading out. We're all over the place in terms of we're in Amsterdam, we're in America, we're in Ireland. We've got obviously lots in the UK, Italy, Spain, Malaysia, Singapore. We've got some incredible units that are about to open, and then we're about to open Malaysia and Singapore, which is great for us. And obviously, it'll be start with 2 salons. The idea is to grow that market, really attack that market. Obviously, we're here in Dubai. This is somewhere that we're trying to get going again.
Okay.
Again, we've had some really positive meetings. We're looking to take it upon ourselves rather than franchise it. We're looking to sort of do it ourselves.
Yeah.
It's somewhere that we really want to be.
Why is that now?
Because of probably the lessons that we've learned previously with the Dubai situation. It's quite far away. It's a very, very important market. Mm. For example, we were sending people to Menspire Dubai in the Versace Hotel. I even tried to send you there that we have that time. And it wasn't really working to the standard that we'd want. So we want to make sure the foundations are right here. Mm. We would start with one shop, but inshallah the goal would to be the Middle East, to have multiple in Dubai, Saudi and surrounding really. Yeah. So it's so important to us. We're basically willing to do it ourselves and actually put our hand in our pockets this time and make it happen, because it's important. We want to be over here, and we just need to make sure it's done right. And the right person hasn't necessarily popped up, so no problem. We're going to take it upon ourselves to kind of do it ourselves, really.
How do you deal with competition? Obviously, competition's everywhere. UK and Dubai, but I know Dubai has a lot of it because there aren't too many branded barbershops.
No, there's not.
I can only think of a handful, right?
Yeah, same, yeah.
So to wipe them out of the waters, which is essentially what you want to do with a business, how do you go about doing that?
I personally feel like there's enough bread for everyone to eat, and I see we don't look at competition anymore so much. We definitely were aware of other local barbers, other local brands that were growing, and I say this in a humble way. I think we've kind of gone past the point of having competition in terms of there isn't another brand like us that has the education that we offer, the amount of salons, the product line, and
Would you be doing the education here as well?
Eventually, everything would be here. Okay. Our starting point is a salon. Yeah, okay. From that, you grow everything.
Okay, yeah, it makes sense.
So, in terms of competition, there's definitely a lot of good barbershops in Dubai. I know a handful of really good barbershops, but it's a very serious market here. We can't just assume that we can pop up Menspire, we've got 30 shops and we're the best. No. We would have to really treat this one as if like we treated the first one, like we do with all of our shops. But it's a strong market here, and it's not a joke. There is proper competition here. The service that you can get from these barbershops, I'm sure you know.
They give you a whole pedicure, manicure, facial, the whole lot.
We don't actually offer that in our shops. We have got on our menu, we've got facials and bits and pieces, but not many people. People don't really come to Menspire for that side of things. But here we have to look at that side of things, because that's what they offer here. So we can't just come in here thinking we're the best, we'll do nice haircuts, everyone will come. No, we're studying the market and understanding, well, how can we offer some of these services but stay true to what the brand is, but we know that the local competition go in on service, and that's what people want here. They want to feel that they're very well looked after, and it's more than just a haircut, it's the full shebang. Or at least have the option to do that. So we're studying the market carefully, and wiping people out, I don't know. I think it would be great just to kind of fit in somewhere nicely here, do really well, and then with the intention of growing and having multiple. But we respect this market, and we know that it's not a joke. So that's why we're kind of taking our time, making sure everything's right.
I mean, from personal experience, I could say whenever I get my haircut in Dubai, I only go to one guy all the time.
Where do you
go? I go to what's the barbershop's called Live.
Okay. Is it by the mall?
No, it's not. I don't go to that one. I go to one in my mate's gym, TK MMA Fit.
Yes, okay, yeah. Yeah.
So they got a proper nice place there.
Yeah. That's quite new, isn't it?
Yeah. I think within the last year was.
Yeah, Tam Khan's doing it,
Tam
yeah.
Khan's doing it. But whenever I go there, it's almost like a 2-hour treatment. So
Yeah.
we're in the UK and I'm normally in the chair for like 45 minutes, I want to say.
Yeah.
Fade, all that beard done.
Yeah.
But here it's like, do the haircut, the fade, he took 45 minutes alone. Then he puts the hot towel, then he gives a bit of, face massage. I don't know if this is because I've been to him a few times and he likes me, or just like that's
I think that's the standard here.
Yeah, that's standard, that's what I'm saying. So I know that when I'm going to a barbershop in Dubai, I've got to take out two hours at least out of my day. It's a day trip, yeah. So with that being said, because of that, and I have a great experience with that guy cutting my hair, he gives me a good haircut, and I always feel like fresh coming out of it. With you guys coming here, when I see Menspire, how do you then attract a loyal customer to that place to then come to Menspire?
Do you know what? I think our USP is the fact that we are so hair focused. Like, we are, without sounding tremendously arrogant, like, we do the best haircuts. And I think, for the English guys, that's probably one thing that coming from England, they miss the most, is that attention to detail. And let's understand the market of men right now. Men are very particular about their hair now. It's not like it was 10 years ago, 15 years ago, where it was two back and sides and that is the haircut. Like, men now will tell you, tell the barber what it is that they want, how they want their hair cut, styled. And we're attentive to that because we study that. That's what we do. We're focused on the attention to detail. And I think that ultimately is the USP that brings people back time and time again. Of course, the service, how you treat someone. People will never forget how you make them feel. So yeah, we can wine and dine you and put your earwax on and take the nose hairs out your nose. But to have a general conversation, no music, okay, have a general conversation, build a rapport with you, holds much greater weight than, all the fancy stuff. You leave with what you want in a time that is adequate for you, in a lifestyle that is fast paced. It's perfect.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I'm saying? If I could give you nice fade, everything what you want for your image in 30 minutes with a great conversation and refreshments, you're out.
Yeah.
You're happy.
True. That's what I'm used to back home as well.
I know.
Where do you prefer going for a haircut, Dubai or UK? Is it a bit long, 2 hours? Or do you like, especially in Dubai, you kind of got that maybe extra bit of time?
If you've got that extra time.
Where do you prefer going?
I think exactly that. I think because I'm in Dubai, I know I've got that little bit extra time. In
More
UK,
relaxing.
I know I'm getting my haircut for a purpose, for a reason. I've got a podcast I've got to do, or I've got to be somewhere. UK, I don't know, maybe UK just seems fast-paced all the time, so it's like rush. Here, I know that I've got a little bit of leeway. If I'm another hour more, doesn't matter too much. I'm technically on holiday.
Exactly.
I think until I actually reside here, then it'll probably be different because I'll probably actually be doing stuff.
Yeah.
At the moment, I'd say probably UK.
Okay.
Only because still at the end of the day, sitting in the chair for two hours.
Yeah, of course, it's more efficient. Really, you're there for a haircut. All the extra stuff is extra.
It's just extra, yeah.
So that's our thing.
As long as I get a haircut and shave, I'm good.
And you want to look good, and that's what's important, leaving and feeling good with a good conversation, or at least a good feeling with your barber. So our thing is exactly what Josh said. We don't want to come in here and create like a big list of all the different things you have. Yes, we're definitely aware that we need to bear that in mind. But we would come into this market like we've done every other market and do what we do. Focus on great hair cutting, great atmosphere, great people working within the shop, and we're confident with that. That it's worked in so many other places, and it's thrived in other places. That we believe Dubai would be, inshallah, the same situation. But we are very aware that the service and the extra service that is given here, we would have to be aware of that and take that into consideration. And upon a few conversations we've had this week about maybe merging a salon connected to somewhere that has all those services offered, so it's almost like this is where you come for your haircut, and then all that stuff is easy accessible,
Like
but just here.
Spa or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Let's see.
I got a question. What's the difference price-wise between what you pay in England and Dubai here? Do you know?
A tenner. So for everything I mentioned in Dubai, it's £35. I don't know how many dirhams that is. I can't remember. But yeah, and then in UK, it's 25. 25. Oh, no, it's 30 actually.
Do you notice the difference much technically with your hair between the two barbers? Just as a comparison.
Do you know, being completely honest with you guys, I'm not too fussed about my hair anymore. Once since I went Umrah and I've got a short hair, I'm
Short hair's better for you.
Yeah.
You have like a medium skin fade and
That's it, yeah, literally. As long as the fade looks somewhat good, all I care about is on camera.
of course you do.
Yeah, I know it sounds crazy,
No, of course.
but for podcasts, as long as it looks good, I'm good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if anyone says to you in person, "Oh, your fade is dead," I could not care less. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What was your question again, sorry?
No, I was just understanding if you can see personally a technical difference between the price
I can
difference.
see a difference. I do like the service in Dubai,
Yeah.
but I don't like how much time it is.
Yeah, because if you were here working full time, you wouldn't
Yeah.
have that technically holiday mode,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
we do
yeah.
have.
Yeah.
Because we haven't got a whole schedule of loads of things to do. So
exactly.
when that comes in, the idea of taking 2 hours out, not that many people can afford to do that. Realistically.
Yeah. Because 2 hours, the way you got to look at it is for a normal working person, that's 2 hours of the day. And if they're getting paid, let's just say 20 quid an hour, or something like that, that's 40 quid they just miss out on.
Of course.
Do you know what I mean? And for self-employed people, it's harder to do that.
It's definitely a nice option, but our thing would be focusing on efficient, beautiful haircutting. We work on like half an hour appointments, 45 with a beard, and we'll probably stick with that. But again, trying to accommodate the extra bits somehow without changing what we do, because we're so confident with what we do. We don't want to come in and have to change it all up dramatically.
Yeah.
But again, conscious of it and aware of it, and just trying to combat it and stay true to what the brand is at the same time.
I think I've got a question, right? I don't think we spoke about this on a podcast last time, but why not women? Why is there not a women's spire? Because women, arguably, and I've spoken about it in many podcasts with other entrepreneurs in different fields, women spend a lot more money compared to men. It's repetitive money as well.
True. Well, it comes down to passion, really, because I started my career in the women's industry, and there's definitely a lot of money to be made with colour, with blow drying, with all that kind of stuff, but I had no passion for it whatsoever. All I cared about was short haircuts. So I spent about 5 years of my life, 6 years in an industry that I thought that was actually at the time, that was the only way to even get into the position I'm in now. There wasn't a men's industry as such. It was either a barbershop or the hair industry.
Yeah.
For me, the barbershops had a bad reputation in terms of Billy the barber, everything's cut with thin scissors, it's all a bit rough around the edges. And then you get the pristine hair salon. So I worked in Knightsbridge in Mayfair. So I entered my career through one of the best ways that you possibly could. Now, thankfully, you don't actually have to do that to be able to get into the position that we're in. We've almost created like a sub-industry where it's men's hairdressing. But to answer your question, passion. I never enjoyed the blow dries, never enjoyed colouring hair. Yes, it was enjoyable speaking to women, all that kind of stuff, but it was the actual hair itself. Passion wasn't there. It was always about men's and short hair. So we followed the passion, and
I'm personally allergic to colour, so that cancels me out, to be honest with you.
You don't like doing anything with colour? Or
I can't. I'm allergic.
Oh,
I'm
actually,
allergic to colour. I'm allergic to colour. Yeah,
What do you mean
if I get colour on my skin, I'll flare up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
So even you can wear gloves, but to be honest with you,
But then, okay, what about from a business perspective, yeah? So I understand that you're not as passionate about it, but what about bringing a woman on board who has got a huge passion for women's hair, making them feel good, look good, all that sort of stuff, and then adding that to...
I think just being Menspire, key word Menspire, we've just entered the men's side of things. If we were to go down the road of business side of the hairdressing, which I have been approached a couple of times, do I want to invest, do I want to get involved? Yes, probably, but something separate from Menspire. I think we kind of keep it what it is. It's not just for men exclusively, but it is Menspire. It's a men's brand. So sometimes it's not always about thinking about, I can make more money doing that. It's all about, actually, I really enjoy this. This is the thing that I care about. I don't care for that. Yeah, I'm sure we could make some money that way. And maybe that later down the line, we might invest in some hair salons, but I definitely would keep it separate. I feel like we can make our money and what we want to make through the thing that we love, rather than just trying to kind of like bring things in just to, create a slightly bigger bill. So yeah, I think it's about down to passion and what you're interested in. I don't really entertain anything that I'm not passionate about, that I'm not interested in, and I'm just not interested in that side of things anymore. But I was in it, and I was doing long Ceocastinfo blow dries as a young man, like all these women with all these curls and stuff. I was like, what am I doing? This isn't me. And it wasn't me, but that was my entrance, and I learned a lot through that. But it was never for me. And yeah, you can make more money, but it was never for me. This is for me,
following your passion, man.
Yeah.
For real.
What's been a highlight in the past 10 years for you guys?
Highlight for me is probably being able to share what I enjoy doing in front of huge audiences. I've seen audiences from 2,000-3,000 people all across the world. from South Korea, Brazil, Australia, America, you name it.
I mean, you just mentioned earlier on, can we talk about the saying, you're going to Romania on
I
Monday?
am, yeah, I'm going on Monday, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's probably like the 5th time
Yeah.
I've been to Romania. So, yeah, I've been to Russia 9 times, been to Brazil 11 times. And, yeah, definitely for me a highlight is being able to, show what I can, or share what I can do with the world, really.
And what is it they exactly do at these shows?
So at these shows, we often demonstrate the latest in men's hairdressing, whether it's new trends or new techniques, or ultimately philosophy. Sharing the philosophy that we care and love about at Menspire, and letting people feel it, letting people feel empowered and inspired, leaving feeling entertained as well.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Do you know, it's funny because we don't actually, or from a person who's not in the barbering industry, I don't think we understand how big the barbering industry is, because I'm sure you guys have all these trade events. Obviously, you're gonna have all these product launches, all this and all of that, and for you to have your guys' name in front of all of that as well is obviously such a big thing that the public don't really get to see. The person who's getting his fade in the chair right now in Menspire in London, he's not thinking about what's going on over there and those moves. What about for you, Sam? What's your highlight?
So I'm really, really grateful for every single shop we've opened. We've got loads of incredible shops all around the world. My highlights would have to be opening in Amsterdam, just because it was always a goal of mine. I always loved Amsterdam. So we now, alhamdulillah, we've got 5 salons, in incredible locations, beautiful salons, which I'm absolutely thrilled with, that I present to the world through social media the whole time, because it's a really, really good example of the brand. So being able to grow in Amsterdam over the last sort of two and a bit years to now have the 5 salons and the academy, that massive highlight for me, and it's a pleasure to go over there and work with our partner Naz, who has just scaled it very rapidly. He's a businessman rather than a barber, so having Naz involved and Amsterdam is definitely a massive highlight for the last decade for me. And being really honest, bro, we were in the position of, we've opened quite a few shops and invested a lot of money into these shops. So when we got to the position of franchising, when we had people were paying us, so we would actually earn money before the shop even opened, we would get a franchise fee, and that was a massive highlight, because usually you put 30 grand in, you have to wait X amount of time to get that back. Then after that, cool, you get, and it's great, and then you've got a flow, and it's amazing, alhamdulillah. But when you're getting paid before the shop even opens, and that was an incredible feeling, and I can't not admit that was probably a highlight, knowing that we've got to a position in our business that we're making money before the shop opens, before we have to wait for our investment to come back and everything else, blood, sweat and tears that goes into it.
In a way I can relate to it, exactly what we were talking about before this podcast started, is me talking about the 2 Andrew Tate episodes.
There you go.
One being paid as it's going on, one being paid up front.
Yes.
It's a complete different
Exactly,
thing.
and you're like, wow, there's real progress.
Yeah.
Of course, okay, we're very passionate, we love it, but at the end of it, it's a business and we want to make money out of it. So when suddenly the money comes in a slightly more simple transaction, thrilled, it felt like progress. And to be able to do that over and over, it's like, okay, cool, now we're onto something, because we're not having to put our hands in our pocket to invest, and having to wait a couple of years to get the money back or whatever it is, and feel a bit out of pocket and feel it. It's now cool, we're opening in Milan, great, we've just earned X out of that before the shop's even opened. Fantastic. Malaysia's opening next month, great, we've already earned good money from it, great, it hasn't opened. So that was, being really honest, that's definitely a highlight. And in terms of the business side of things, that feels like real progress, and that's something that I'm really, really proud of, to be honest.
Yeah, no, alhamdulillah, you both, or Menspire in general, has absolutely smashed it. So, me saying it to you guys here, but also to your team who are watching right now as well, my message goes to them, absolutely smashing it, and keep doing what you lot are doing, because if you lot are doing it the way you're doing it and going to continue to do it like that, I can only imagine where you guys are going to be.
Inshallah.
Just a quick one, have you found a location in Dubai that you'd want to open?
No, so yesterday we looked at about 3 or 4 different locations. Today my guys out here looking at locations. There's a range of places that we're umming. It's funny, you get in a social circle, you come to a social circle out here and you mention some locations that you're looking at, and there's always someone in the group saying, that's rubbish, don't go there. There's so many conflicting messages about where's good, where's not good. So we're just trying to find an appropriate place to have our first shop, whether it's JLT, whether it's DIFC, whether it's the marina, who knows? We're trying to figure out the best starting point. But everyone's got an opinion, and I feel like even last night my guy was out looking at loads of shops. He was really excited about these 2 particular ones he found. We then sat with a couple of guys last night who've lived here for the last decade. They're like, nah, that's dead. And his face dropped, because we thought we'd finally figured out a place. And not to say they're completely right, everyone's got an opinion. As soon as you take too much of that on, suddenly where do you open them?
Yeah.
So we haven't got an exact location.
Yeah.
There's just a few cases on the table that we're just trying to figure out still. Again, we're not trying to rush it, we're trying to do it properly, so it all has to just add up. So we almost opened, before the research and everything, we actually were out here a couple of years into the business, and we had a shop lined up in JLT.
Yep.
That almost happened. It literally fell through last minute. We fell out with the partner, and alhamdulillah it didn't go through, which I'm actually very happy about. But JLT was the original spot for us. Again, we mentioned that to some people, they're like, I don't go there, no one goes there. But it seemed like the perfect place at the time. So I think when the location comes up, it will feel right. And again, we're just trying to not rush it and do it properly. So yeah.
So my thing that I'm asking myself off the back of it in terms of location is, to pick a place, who do you attract? Residents or tourists? Because if you're going to somewhere like JBR, that's pretty much tourist haven.
Yep.
And then in JLT, that's obviously residential.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like we're
more residential.
Yeah.
More residential, but I think eventually we will tap into absolutely everywhere. We will do what we did in Amsterdam, so inshallah ta'ala, next time we have this podcast, we will be in the marina, we will be in JLT.
Well, JBR
VCR.
this is the thing, where's right and wrong? Because you go to JBR now, which is generally tourists, and everyone says too busy in and out and this and that. But there's barbershops there busy, doing really well.
I've seen it
everywhere you go, I'm sure. Even if you drive just like down a random road and you look at some of the random units that you see in the bottom of the buildings, there's busy barbershops. Yeah. So I don't think there's a right or wrong. I just think for Menspire, we want to come somewhere ultimately that's affordable. Because like anywhere, you go to the mall, but it comes with a big cost.
Yep.
I don't necessarily think the mall's the right location for number one, but I think this needs to be affordable. Certainly attracting not locals necessarily, but expats, people that moved here.
Yep.
And we would probably go from there and understand where the next location will be and where the next location will be. For example, in Amsterdam, we've opened a shop right in the centre, which most people would say that's the best location in the whole of Amsterdam. It's right next to the W Hotel, opposite Soho House, right next to Dam Square, so the belly of the beast where everyone is. And it's the most difficult shop to build because it's just tourists. Not every tourist is here for a haircut.
Yeah.
They're coming and going. And ultimately, if they do come in, great. See you probably never again.
Yeah.
Unless you come back out here. So tourists aren't necessarily what we're after.
You know what I understand? Whereas, in my opinion, in a small city, right? So you're only there for 2, 3 days, 4 days at a time max.
Yeah.
Most of the people who are going to go there are probably going to go with fresh trims anyway.
Yeah.
So for them to go there to the square and then see another barbershop, it's like, oh, look, nice barbershop, but I don't need a trim right now because I just had a trim yesterday. I'm on holiday and I'm going to go back in a few days' time anyway.
And if they do, they're not necessarily a repeat client anyway. We like to, one person comes in for a haircut, that guy shouldn't go anywhere else.
You want to keep
They should be locked in, they should be rescheduled 2 weeks later, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Tourists, it doesn't work like that. So my point being, figuring out somewhere that kind of probably can service both, but not necessarily obvious to JBR, the mall, that's not what we're after. Somewhere, even JVC, like people criticise JVC, I don't know if you're familiar with the area of JVC, but people say it's an amazing spot because there's loads of Brits there, loads of people not living on a budget, but not like completely balling and flossing. So that would be probably quite appropriate for somewhere like us to start. So,
but JVC is interesting because even when I've talked to people who are into property and all that sort of stuff, they say JVC is an interesting place purely because a lot of the other places surrounding JVC are going up and up and up in price, and JVC is still at this flatline level, and it's only a matter of time before that goes up as well.
Very much up and coming, isn't it?
Yeah. Because they're still developing it heavily as well.
Sorry?
Have I been there yet?
We went there the other day and dropped off that jewellery. He criticised the roads. I don't think the roads are...
the road layout is mad.
So my friend was just criticised, he was just like, these roads are dead. But I was like, I don't really care about the roads so much. So the point being, we're open, we'll figure it out. Inshallah this year. Our right-hand man Mahi's actually out here now. He's looking to move out here with his family full time. Yeah. And his job role within the UK will become a bit more, he'll be doing that from here, which is cool. Yeah. But his main task out here would be to run and maintain our Menspire basically. So he's out at the minute every day looking at different places. So I'm sure the right place will come up. And it's fun, it's a journey. We just know we really want it. Like I'm here again, like I've got other things going on out here as well. But I'm out here really because I just want Menspire to be here, and no one's going to do it for me. So just by being here and what we've achieved so far this week is definitely steps closer to where we want to get to. So.
Yeah. Would you say that again, sorry?
Yeah, and I think the blessed thing as well is that we have people that are interested in working with us here as well. So it's not like we would find staff difficult to attract. And I think that's one of obviously the most difficult things about running a barbershop is finding the right people. So we certainly are at an advantage. It's just locking down all of these key details, location, registration, etc.
we actually have a celebration in May for our 10-year anniversary.
Yeah.
So we've got a beautiful venue in St Albans where obviously our first shop was, the town hall there.
Yeah.
Again, we were going to do it in London, we were going to do it in Amsterdam. We thought, let's just keep it where we started.
Let's do it at home.
It made perfect sense. So
Yeah.
we've got beautiful. The town hall there has recently been like revamped and stuff. So big, beautiful venue. So we've got in May we've got our 10-year anniversary, which we're really, really looking forward to. There'll be sort of 100 plus Menspire people there. So that's in May. That's something I'm very much looking forward to. Again, we've got lots of little projects that we're working on. Some of them are early stages. Some of them are getting a bit further on. And it's exciting. I'll tell you what, when we get to this point, the momentum behind us, the hard work hasn't been done completely, but a lot of hard work has been done. So for example, I keep on referencing Amsterdam, but we're about to open our 5th salon there. And it doesn't really require me and Josh to be heavily involved in that. The momentum's there, like all the recruitment is done. We've got a huge team of like 30 plus barbers in Amsterdam.
Yeah, of course.
Easy to recruit. So the momentum's there. We're almost like not sitting back and watching it grow now, but in some parts we kind of are. All of our partners, we haven't really got any partners that are just happy with, content with one shop. The whole idea is that we want to scale, we want to grow. Really, how you make proper money in this game is to have multiple shops. You can do okay from one shop, but you soon realise what you earn from one shop, you want to times that by 5 realistically.
Yeah, you want to do it in volume.
Of course.
Yeah, it's a natural thing.
We're very blessed that all of our partners, Seamus O'Keefe is our guy based in the Midlands. He's got opened our shop in Leicester, he's just opened in Nottingham. They're all up in Manchester. We've got loads of amazing partners that are all very hungry, looking for their next shop or their 3rd shop or their 4th shop. So we're almost just guiding them, mentoring them, and not sitting back and watching it, but almost like a lot of the hard work has been done and the momentum is there, and we're almost just enjoying the ride a little bit more. It's almost like it's kind of like building itself around us, and then we're almost just focusing on projects that only we can do at being the founders, product line, online space, improving
general
bits and
identity,
pieces,
general presence, yeah.
So we're focusing on those bits, and it almost seems like everything else is not taking care of itself, but the momentum's there, the standards are there.
It's kind of allowed you guys to take a step out of the shoes and just see what you've built. Because in the whole process of you building this machine of what you're doing, you never really look back and see what it actually has become until you are in a position where you can take a step back and be like, you know what, that's quite good, and witness it grow like that.
Certainly. And it's healthy to do that. We don't like to do it too often because we've definitely got a big appetite on us. We want loads more. The dinner is described as salt water. You drink some, but it never really quenches your thirst. I can definitely relate to that because we're 31 plus salons in, and we want double, triple more, to be honest, being totally honest. And it's not necessarily for the financial gain now, it's more just because we've proven that it's actually doable, and what you get from it. Ultimately, giving people all these opportunities to work with you and giving these people, a livelihood. That was really amazing. When we opened in Dublin, Ireland, we started scaling there, opening multiple shops there. It was just a beautiful thought that we were in another country providing all these guys with a livelihood, something that they were obviously looking after their families with, and deepening it like that, being able to provide a platform that people can actually earn a living from and look after their families is a very nice thought as well. Yeah. So more of that, and all of our staff, the kind of relationships we have with our staff, incredible. We have some incredible people. The best ever barbers in the world, not necessarily technically, but the best people, just the amazing people. And it's enjoyable working with these people and seeing them and reach their goals. And it's just that's the enjoyment really.
We've really seen people grow from boys to men.
Yeah.
We really have. We've seen people step in as young as 17, like Owen Murphy, as a young boy, who is now becoming the director of one of the salons in Amsterdam, at 22, 23, and just watching them grow is just joyful, it's just joyful,
See what they do.
And again, it's fulfilling that kind of spiritual balance between, what you can gain from it financially, physically, but spiritually, just seeing people grow and develop, man, is,
It's a beautiful thing.
Very rewarding, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
It is because at the end of the day, as little as a haircut may be, it makes a massive difference in people's confidence and people's livelihood.
Yeah.
So, do you know what I mean? If you've got good hair and stuff like that and come to Menspire.
As we know, like when you go and sit and have a haircut, how you feel afterwards. That's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
Giving that to clients and being able to do that for the last 17 years is the most incredible thing. And I still cut hair in the salon a couple of days a week. And I'll never stop that because I just love that feeling. Like I love the communication, the connection I have with my clients that I've been looking after for a long time, making them look amazing, putting my all into someone else's image, and them looking at me like I'm the absolute master because I've just improved their feeling. That feeling is extremely powerful.
Yeah.
And then times in the scale that we've got is just beautiful. So there's lots of different elements that we can look at and be joyful from. But yeah, even just looking after clients and making people feel good, which is the basic understanding of what Menspire is about. It's deep and it's beautiful, alhamdulillah. So yeah.
Alhamdulillah, inshallah, it keeps going from there, man.
Inshallah.
From there. If people have any questions, where can they contact you to ask you a question? They might have a lesson that we haven't spoken about, or they might have a challenge they're facing right now that believe you and Sam can discuss. So if they wanted to do so and contact you, how can they do so?
So my Instagram would be at SMpire, or Menspire Salon, at Menspire Salon.
Yeah, mine is at Josh Lamonica, at Menspire Academy, and obviously our website, www.menspire.com. You can find everything you need to know.
Have you guys, on your website, have you got like a not a help section, but
You can ask questions.
not for barbering in particular, because they always say like a barber is half your barber and half your therapist. So I'm just thinking, on your website, have you got something where people could anonymously?
No, we haven't. That's a very good idea.
I think it'd be a good shout,
It's a very good idea. That's sort of the more mental health space of things.
Yeah. Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
And then having
Certainly.
someone from the team, whether it be either you guys or someone from the team, just answering it.
Certainly. We've got someone that we work with very closely, Oliver Morehouse, which I would say isn't an expert in mental health, but he's certainly our guy when even for our barbers, people, obviously, as you can imagine, young people are going through things all the time. We have to deal with, we've had to deal with all sorts of stuff. You'd be surprised, from black magic to divorce to crazy
That's
stuff.
what I'm saying, like there's a whole load of different
Loads
things.
of stuff.
Yeah.
So alhamdulillah, it's not always falling onto myself and Josh. In fact, Ollie Morehouse is his not main role. He's a director, but he deals with a lot of our recruitment side of things, but also with that side of things. The more, I'm not going to say it's necessarily mental health, but that kind of stuff. I'm very blessed to work alongside him. He's got a passion for helping people in terms of headspace, I suppose. But to be able to integrate something into the website and more so into Menspire is a very good idea. It's something that we should certainly look into. Because it's a very relevant thing to be aware of.
If you want me to do it from Dubai and move me out here, part of Menspire, I'll happily do it, bro.
No problem,
I'll happily do it here, inshallah. We'll add this to the whole business expense and everything like that.
No problem at all. Inshallah.
But no, if people want to contact you, I'm going to put all your links in the description below, Menspire, your personal links and socials, everything like that, and people can hopefully do so. And any questions, please do ask away. Until then, I'll catch you on the next episode of CEOCAST. Peace.